Well, hello, welcome again to our reading of the Septuagint. We're reading the story of Joseph from the book of Genesis and up to chapter 39. So we had that short chapter 38, which was a digression onto the brother of Joseph, and now the story comes back to Joseph again. Joseph de katekthe es Aigupton kai ektesato auton ferifres ha eunuchus furao Archimageros. Ane Aiguptios ek kairos Ismaliton kai kategagon auton ekhe. And Joseph went down, this is the aorist passive, from Kat-ago into Egypt, and Periphrez, this is often translated as Potiphar, or transliterated as Potiphar, is the name of the guy here. He possessed him, so Potiphar, the eunuch of Pharaoh, the Archimageros, literally the chief butcher. As I mentioned in the earlier video, the Hebrew word here is sar, and it's from a verb meaning to have dominion over, in fact. But it's probably the case that the translator didn't believe that someone of that authority could be a eunuch, and so he's become the sort of like chief bodyguard, the chief butcher of Pharaoh. Also, it's not quite clear exactly what he means by eunuch here, because the guy has a wife as well, so it's all rather odd. The name eunuchos here is from eune, meaning a bed, and the uk is connected with echo, the keeper of the bed of Pharaoh. So we'll just translate it as it is. So Potiphar, the eunuch of Pharaoh, either the commander or chief, or the chief butcher, if you will, an Egyptian man, took possession of him from Ptolemy, ek kairos Ismaeliton, from the hand of the Ishmaelites, who brought him down from Kat-ago there, Ekhe. Kai en kurios meta Yosef, kai en aner epitunkanon, kai agenito enter oika parata kurio to Aiguptio. Now, in the Septuagint, as I mentioned before, when you get kurios without the article, it generally, almost always, refers to Yahweh. When you get it with the article, then it just refers to a human master. So here we can render, and Yahweh was with Joseph, and he was a man, epitunkanon. This is a participle here from epitunkano, to succeed, meeting with that, it's the verb tunkano, to meet with, to get or obtain. So who succeeded. The Hebrew simply says he was a prospering man. And it came to pass, here it's just he was, I think. He was in the house beside his Egyptian master. Now here we get the kurios with the article, so it's his human master. Ade de ho kurios autu, hoti kurios met autu, kai hosa an poie, kurios u odoi entais kesin autu. And his master, with the article, he knew, past tense of oida, that kurios, no article, so that's Yahweh, was with him, and as many things as he did, and Yahweh, so in respect of as many things as he would do, as he did, Yahweh prospered, understand, them by his hands. That is, the his referring here, I think, to Joseph. The verb here is euodoo, and it is a classical word. It does occur not that commonly, but it's in Sophocles and Herodotus, and so it means to prosper, and it continues on into the New Testament as well. So the verb is just euodoo, and here we're getting it's u-o-a, I think, contracted. So I think it's a present tense here, but So Yahweh prospers, or perhaps prospered, we'd say in English, by his hands. Kai Huren Yosef Karin and Antion to Kuriu autu, you ereste de auto, kai kateste sen auton epi tu oiku autu, kai panta hosa an auto, edoken dia keros Yosef. And Joseph found favor before his master, and he was well-pleasing to him, that is, to his master. This is from eu arestio. This is a post-classical word. It's a contract, epsilon contract verb, eu arestio, but it does go on into the New Testament. And he established him over his house, and all things, as many as were for him. So in other words, all things which were his, as many things as were belonging to him, he gave diakeros Yosef, literally through the hand of Joseph. So we might say into the hand of Joseph. Egeneto demeta to katastathenai auton epitu oiku autu kai epipanta hosa ein auto kai eulogesan kurios ton oikon tu aiguptiu dio Yosef kai egenethe eulogia kuriu en pasintois hupakus in auto ento oiko kai ento agro. So quite a long verse there. And it came to pass, and we get meta plus the articular infinitive, and this is in the passive here, as you can see from the thenai. So it came to pass, and the subject goes into the accusative. So it came to pass that after he had been established, from kath histemi, this is the aorist passive infinitive, over his house, and over all things, as many as were his, literally for him, dative of the possessor, and Kurios, that's Yahweh, blessed the house of the Egyptian, dia Yosef, on account of Joseph. So egenethe eulogia kuriu en pasintois hupakusi auto ento oiko kai ento agro. And the blessing of Yahweh was in all his possessions in the house. This is the owner of the house, Potiphar. This is from huparko, dative plural participle. Huparko means to exist, often used just in place of the verb to be. We've translated here by his possessions. So the blessing of Yahweh was upon, perhaps for the N, was upon all his possessions in the house and in the field. Classical Greek would have had tekai here, or perhaps even two kais, but biblical Greek often doesn't have all the same niceties of classical Greek. So he blessed the ones that were in the house and in the field, that is on his farm, kai epetraps and panta, and he turned over, he handed over all things, as many as were his, into the hands of Joseph. Kai uk ade ton kathiauton uden plain tu artu hu aestheon autos. And literally he did not know, this is from the past tense of oida, he did not know nothing. So Greek has double negatives. He didn't know anything of the things with himself, according to himself. So he paid no attention to any of his own affairs, except, and plain takes a genitive, except for his bread, who, and that gets attracted into the genitive, which he himself used to eat. So he pays no attention to any of his own affairs except what he's eating. Kai en Yosef kalos to ede kai horios te opses spodra. And Joseph was kalos. He was beautiful in his ede, his appearance, literally. This is from a third declension neuter noun, to eidos. This is the dative here. Possibly meaning he's good of build, he's well built, It may also just mean that he's good of appearance, but then we get Orios, he was fair to the eye, Svodra exceedingly. So he was exceedingly good looking. Svodra is often used at the end of sentences in biblical Greek. It is a classical word, but it's translating a Hebrew word ma'od, which has that sense of exceedingly, which you simply put it at the end to emphasize something. So he was well built and fair to the eye, exceedingly good to look at. Exceedingly fair, Orios, to the eye. Kai ageneton metataremata tauta kai epebelen, hegune tu kuriuautu tusophthalmusautes epi Yosef kai apen koi metheti met emu. And it came to pass after these things. Now, rama is a funny word in the Septuagint. In classical Greek, it's connected with the aorist passive from lego. So the aorist passive is erethein, and from the root of that you get this this rama, a third declension neuter noun. So it normally means word. However, it's used to translate. However, the Hebrew word is davar, and davar has two meanings. It can either mean word, or it can mean thing. And the context tells you which it is, but it's always translated in this by the Septuagint translators as rama. So after these things in this context, not after these words. So it came to pass after these things. Now, we would normally say hoti, that, but the Greek just says kai, and. It's the way Hebrew sentences construct these connected sentences together with w in the Hebrew, the Bath consecutive it's called. So anyway, it came to pass after these things, we would say then, the wife of his master, she cast her eyes upon Joseph, and she said, sleep with me. Hoder uk aethelen, and he did not want to. Apen de te gunaiki tu kuriu autu, hokurios mu uginoske, di eme uden ento oiko autu kai panta hosa eisen auto edoken estas keras mu, kai hupereke ente oikia taute uthen emu udi hup ex eretai apemu uden plain su diatos se gunaika autu enai, kai pos poiesa to rema ton poneron tuto, kai hamatesemai enantian tu theou. So he did not want to, and he said to the wife of his master. Now the a here was translated as since rather than if, which is again a common translation of this. The Hebrew, I think, is ki, with a range of meanings, can mean either if or since. So since my master does not know on account of me nothing, so doesn't know anything in his house, and all the things which are his, he has given into my hands. And since hupe eke, now the subject of this is uthen. Now uthen is for uden, and by this stage the pronunciation of delta had been softened into a th sound, as it is in modern Greek. And so sometimes you get uden with a delta, as I think we saw a couple of lines down. And there it is down the very next line. We get uden with a delta. Sometimes we get uden with a theta. There's no distinction at all. It's just that was the original word, and it's being pronounced like this and sometimes written like this. So it's the subject here, I think. So nothing exceeds in this house. Nothing exceeds me. There is nothing greater in the house than me. Nor hup ex eretai. This is from hoop ex aereo, which is a word is used in Plutarch, and it's in later Greek. It's in Demosthenes, meaning to exclude, and nothing is excluded. Again, that's the subject. So nor is anything, nor is nothing excluded, nor is anything excluded from me, except you, because you are his, on account of you, to be his wife. So dia top plus the infinitive. So this u then is the subject of this verb, and this u then is the subject of this one. So nothing exceeds me in the house, nor does anything, is anything excluded from me except you, because you are his wife. And how will I do torema ton poneron, again rema here in the sense of thing, how would I do this evil thing, and how will I sin before God? Heineke de elale to Yosef hemeron ex hemeras, kai uk hup ekusen aute kathudain metautes tu sungenesthai aute. And when, it's but when Heineke, she began to speak to Joseph day after day. The Hebrew simply here has yom yom, day day, so day by day. We have a similar expression to this one in the translation of the book of Esther 3:7, and examples of this idiom day after day have been found from the 4th century onwards in papyri. The expression occurs only once in the New Testament to Peter. So when she was saying to Joseph day after day, or saying this to Joseph day after day, and he did not obey her, hypokuo plus the dative, so as to sleep with her, and then to rub it in, to emphasize it, so as to have intercourse with her, from sun ginamai. So they've repeated. It literally means to keep company with her. The Hebrew has to be with her for the first bit. The Hebrew has to be intimate with her for this bit here. To be with her, or to be intimate with her. Egenetar de toiaute tis hemera, es elthen Yosef es tenoikian poienta erga autu, ca euthes enton ent te oikia eso. And it came to pass, a certain such day came to pass, Joseph entered in to the house to perform his works, to do his deeds, perform his works, and no one of those in the house was inside. So those who worked in the house, no one was inside. Kai epis sparsita auton kai himation legusa koimethe met emu. And now this is from epispao. Normally means to draw after or to persuade. Here it's in the middle. It seems to have the sense here of grab hold of. Spao is to draw something, to pull it out. So here it's something like, she grabbed hold, and taking a genitive, she grabbed hold of his clothes, saying, sleep with me. Kai katalepon ta hamatia autu entais kersin autes ephagon kai elthen exo. And having left his garments in her hands, he fled, and he went outside. And that's the first part of chapter 39.